Good afternoon. Can you see the slide?
স্যার আমি মানে কলের পেজটা যদি ছাইড়া ওইটার মধ্যে যাই তাহলে কথাগুলো শোনা যায় না
কোনটা দিলে শোনা যায় না?
ওর ফাইলের পেজটার মধ্যে
আচ্ছা, no problem. Can you see the slide? Geoffrey Chaucer, Prologue to Canterbury Tales. স্লাইডটা দেখতেছো নি? স্লাইডটা तो कौन ना देगी तुम्हें?
না না
ऐसे कैसे होगा? देखो স্লাইডটা দেখো, কোন স্লাইডটা দেওয়া আছে? জফরি চসার প্রোলগ টু ক্যান্টারবারি টেলস আছে নি
হুম
স্লাইডটা?
হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ,
আছে
ঠিক আছে। তো ইয়ানে কিতাব পড়াইছি আমি লাস্ট ক্লাসে, জফরি চসারের ক্যান্টারবারি টেলস। Mainly two section from Canterbury Tales. The Night, যেটা ফার্স্ট, আর একটা হচ্ছে ওয়াইফ অফ বেল। এর আগে কিতা আছে? একটা প্রোলগ আছে। সো অনেক কিছু আমি ক্যারেক্টার কোড, তারপরে কেমনে কিতা করে এটার মধ্যে কেমনে ক্যারেক্টারটি বানানো হয়েছে against the backdrop of the sociological setting of that time, ওই সময় রিলিজিয়াস সেন্টিমেন্ট কিতা আসলো এইসব। এরপরে there is a thing of like major theme of religion in Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. And why do I say so? Because it's about a pilgrimage. Okay, pilgrimage kita কত? pilgrimage kita হয়?
বুঝছি না
pilgrimage is a সব, every religion has some site of pilgrimage, right? Holy place. Like if we see the Hindu dharma, we go to Gaya, Kashi. If you see Islam, they goes to Makkah, Medina. Makkah, Medina. The same way the Christians goes to their holy place. What is the holy place of Christians?
চার্চ
Church. এরকম তো আমরা মন্দির আছে, but why do we go to this Gaya, Kashi?
হোলি প্লেস
Pilgrimage site, like Hajj, Makkah, Medina, Islam lega. For Hindus, Gaya, Kashi. যেটারে তারা হোলি ল্যান্ড কয়, জেরুসালেম। Okay, and then Rome, Italy, all these things, they have their holy places. So in a lifetime, what the co-religious people believe is, you for the cleaning of your soul, or maybe purification of your soul, you visit the pilgrimage once in your lifetime. Is it or is it not? Momita, go.
ইয়েস স্যার
Do you have any stories of pilgrimage that people of your family going to Gaya, Kashi, or anything as such?
নো
Do you know your relatives who went to? So usually people go. তো এমন এসে কথা, and then একটা নাইটের ব্যাপার আছে। নাইট কেটা যেটা রাজা রানীর সাথে থাকে, প্রোটেক্ট করে তারারে, ইউনো, তারা খুব রিলিজিয়াস হয়, খুব মানে তারা খুব সেক্রেট করা হয়, কেরে তার একটা ওবেডিয়েন্স থাকে অনেক বেশি, ঠিক না? Like if we see when Fairy Queen the poem, no, there is a Red Cross Knight, for a Sarguine, all these people, they are very religious. They they sort of falls into that, ideal, ideal men of those time. They have chivalrous behavior, chivalrous, like in today's time also. I have given you one example of chivalry. Remember, when a man opens the door for his lady, we say, wow, chivalrous man, na? Why do we say chivalrous? Why? ঠিক না? মানে বিহেভিয়ারটা আছে না, to take care of the queen, like that, in old and ancient time, especially in Christian countries, there were knights like this. In India too there were people like that, we call it something else. So knights, okay, knights এর ব্যাপারে একটা জিনিস দেখছো না, কলকাতা নাইট রাইডার্স,
হুম হুম
ঠিক না? এই লেগে নাইট রাইডার রাখছে না যে রাত্রেবেলা খেলা হইব, তারা জিততে যাইব, ঠিক না? নাইট মিন্স that warrior class of people, knights, না?
হুম
তো এনে কি আছে, chivalry, piety, warfare, idealism. So, one of the thing that I have emphasized on Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is that, the story of commoners, the story of the people from each and every sect, each and every class of people, whether it's clergy, it's noblemen, or let's say Chaucer even showed uh, nuns, priests, catching them in immoral acts, and till today these things happen in reality. But if we so in the same way, if we see, like, why Chaucer is remembered today, like there were many writers, but why only Chaucer is, he is considered as one of the most eminent uh, class of writer, right, of poet of that time. Why is so? The reason is that Geoffrey Chaucer talked about religion, talked about people. He humanized people, not from an angle that, an ideal. We all are ideal in some case to our religion, or to our, what to say, whatever ethics our family gives, but uh, we also break the rules, the ethical uh, teachings that our parents give in the meantime, because we are humans, we are flawed, no one is perfect. And Chaucer exactly has represented his characters like that, with flaws, not as some idealistic, this thing. So, if you see the writings of Edmund Spencer, or others, so you won't find that out and out, that, you cannot connect with them as a commoner, as a person with, humanistic behavior. Rather, their characters are very much idealist. Okay, so that kind of thing. So these things I have discussed in your last class, and this is one of the first PPTs I did. Actually, the PPT I circulated is, I'm not getting it, but I'll show you later. I have already circulated, although. So yeah, now we are coming back to today's topic. Okay. Today's topic is this thing. So we'll talk about Alexander Pope and his famous poem. What is the name of his mock epic? The genre is called mock epic. So his poetry, and the name of that work is The Rape of the Lock. And what is the lock he is talking about? Can you say lock? What lock? Is it that
All
security lock in your house?
yes.
Yes, madam. Say, what is it? What do you think it is? Any idea?
Security lock.
Huh?
Security lock.
No, not exactly security lock, but তোমরা মাথায় বেনি বাঁধো না বেনি ওই যে
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
একটার উপর একটা এটা করে সেটা that lock here
হুম
bundle that kind of lock related to hairstyle. So that lock. Okay. So there is this character called Belinda, and the poem is written around her behavior. So this is one of the mock heroic epic of that time. Why mock heroic? What is epic? What do you know about epic? এর আগে আমি কোনো ক্লাসে কইছি তোমার epic during your history of, oh no, you don't have history of English literature. Have you read the poem Beowulf, long poem that is written around a hero, myth, mythic hero, who has these supernatural powers, and also Christian in ideology, that kind of things. Another epic is our Fairy Queen. So these are long poem. Uh, Usually, the center point or the antagonist is a tribe chief or a king or a knight or warrior. So
ব্যাটেল
not a simple man.
জার্নি
Yeah, bolo bolo.
অ্যাডভেঞ্চার
Yes, yes. কই পড়ছিলা ফেরি কুইনে?
হুম
Yes,
ফেরি কুইনে
very good. ওইটাই। Critique of social vanity and moral weakness. সোশ্যাল ভ্যানিটি কি তা ভ্যানিটি মানে হচ্ছে অহংকার, ঠিক না? তো আমি একটা কথা বলছিলাম, হ্যাভ আই told you something in last class that the people of Augustan age, no, it was the BA class. So the setting of Augustan age is such that the noblemen or the aristocrats of that time, they used to show off a lot. There was a lot of superficiality in their life. আছে না? মানুষ উপরে উপরে কথা কইতো, আছে না? মানে টিটকারিতে কথা কইতো, মানুষ দেখাইতো বেশি, লুকাইতো, সরি, লুকাইতো বেশি, ঠিক না? আর দেখাইতেও বেশি, এমন আর কি, ঠিক। তো কেউ আসলো, even men used to put makeup in their face. You have seen the lords, dukes, of England in period dramas. You might, if you see period dramas like Emma or like Pride and Prejudice or the, like that, you'll find Englishmen with the white folded hair and then wigs, I suppose, and then even in Pirates of the Caribbean you can see these things. Face very much white makeup on, and then একটা কি তো জানি কয় তোমরা এটা হাইলাইট নি তো লাল লাল গালের মধ্যে ওইটিও আছে, and then you'll see them putting lipstick as well. So all those things are there, were there in those times. These days, I don't see any men, putting a lot of powder in their face, putting lipsticks. The aristocrats. At that time, they used to do these things. Major work kita, the rape of the law, which we will study. So this, and then there were other playwrights also who wrote in those times, like Richard Sheridan had a famous this thing play. Okay. uh, which was there in our English course, Richard Sheridan's books. So if we see his books, School for Scandal, there was something like that, the School for Scandal. You can study a little bit of that, or maybe read the this thing, because you don't have a lot of time, uh, but if you want to read some of the this thing summaries, you might as well understand the setting of those times. Maybe understand the Augustan, how people were, so much superficiality was there in people's lives during Augustan time, all those things. Okay, so moving on, why do you say a mock epic? So epic was, what did I say? It was centered around a hero, his heroic stances, you know, superficial means superhero nature, and imaginary landscapes, all these things. The villains used to be dragons. Do you see dragon in both Fairy Queen and Beowulf? You can see the characters of dragons, hero fighting the dragons, all these things. In real world, do you think dragons existed at that time? Absolutely not, but symbolically they have represented the evil with so much power. But there is this thing that the powerful the villain or antagonist is, uh, and it will determine the power of the protagonist or hero. Means hero's power can be determined by the kind of fights he takes up, kind of fights he gets into. So all those things. Okay. Parodies epic conventions, creates humor through contrast. So this is a introduction of Belinda. Please read it. Momita, please read it.
Yes, sir.
Introduction of Belinda.
In the opening of the rape of the lock, Alexander Pope harmoniously announces that a very serious crime or dire offense has been committed. He presents it in the guard style of an epic poem, even though the incident is actually terrible. According to Pope, a nobleman has offended a gentle belly by assaulting her, not physically, but by cutting off a lock of her hair. Because of this act, the lady becomes angry and rejects him. After introducing this mock serious conflict, Pope goes on and narrates the story of how this offense took place. Theme of vanity and beauty. Epic tone applied to social life.
So, if I go through the overview, what is written is the opening of Rape of the Lock. Uh, Alexander Pope humorously announces that a very serious crime has been done. What is a dire offense? Dire offense means অনেক বড় ভুল হয়ে গেছে গা কেটা হইছে has committed offense or serious crime কইতেছে এত বড় একটা ভুল হয়ে গেছে গা কি ভুল হয়ে গেছে গা he presented in the grand style of an epic poem. তো এর তো বড় ভুল হয়ে গেছে গা, এটারে কি তা হয়েছে অন্ত ভুলটারে কেমনে করছে একটা এপিক পয়েন্টের মতো তুলে ধরছে, ইভেন দো দ্য অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট ইজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি ট্রিভিয়াল। ট্রিভিয়াল মানে মানে ছোট মতো আছে না, যেটা লেগে যেরকম অনেক সময় আমরা ফুলা বাইন্ডার বোকা দিয়ে আছে না, এমনও কিছু থাকে যেটা লেগে বোকা দেওয়া উচিত না, মানে চিনি মিনি উদ্যোগ আছে না, বড়রা নিজের মনের শান্তির লেগে বোকা দিয়ে আছে না, এরা বোকা দিতে দিতে মানে নিজেরও লাইফে ফ্রাস্ট্রেশন থাকে। তো ট্রিভিয়াল একটা জিনিসের লেগে বললে মানে এত বড় জিনিস হয়ে গেছে গা, এত বড় একটা ঘটনা ঘটে গেছে গা। একটা ট্রিভিয়াল জিনিস কি হয়েছে, অ্যাকর্ডিং টু পোপ এন নেবলম্যান হ্যাজ অফেন্ডেড এ জেন্টল বেলি। জেন্টল মানে খুব সুষ্ঠ ভদ্র, ঠিক আছে, সৃষ্ট ভদ্র। বেলি মানে খুব বিউটিফুল, খুব সুন্দর একটা মেয়ে, ভেরি বিউটিফুল উইমেন, বাই অ্যাসল্টিং হার। অ্যাসল্ট মানে কিন্তু অনেক বড় কথা কয়ে লাইছে, ঠিক না? ফিজিক্যালি অ্যাসল্টিং হার এমন টাইপ না, বাট ইট ইজ নট ফিজিক্যাল, বাট বাই কাটিং অফ হার লক অফ দ্য হেয়ার। মানে ওই যে চুলের যে লক করছে লাস্টে দিয়ে একটা যে ইয়া থাকে ওইটা কাটটা দিছে, ওকে। তো এই হার
হুম,
লক অফ হার হেয়ার ওয়াজ কাট বাই দিস জেন্টলম্যান। তো এটা এমন একটা বড় একটা সিচুয়েশন হয়ে গেছে, নাও ইট লুকস লাইক এ হিউজ থিং, গ্র্যান্ড থিং। তো কি হয়েছে, বিকজ অফ দিস অ্যাক্ট দ্য লেডি বিকামস অ্যাংরি। এটা লাইক কি হয়েছে, লেডি হ্যাজ অবভিয়াসলি কেউ চুল কাটলে তো অ্যাংরি, বাট তাও বেলিন্ডা এট দ্যাট টাইম যে সময় আছে না, আহ, ওই সোলা শৃঙ্গার একটা লেডি যে আছে না,
হুম,
সাজার যে একটা ইয়ে আসলো, তো ওই লেভেলে আছে না, মানে যেখানে বিউটি সবকিছু আসলো, দ্যাট বিউটি ওয়াজ এভরিথিং, facial beauty, the superficial beauty was everything, the how you look by your outlook at those time. Now, when in those time, in those setting, in those social setting, when the gentleman cuts Belinda's hair, it becomes a huge thing for Belinda. Actually, though, if you see, if you alienize yourself from that setting and take up, like it's nothing. It's just your long hair, like you cut a little bit of that. It's not a big deal, but that setting, that sentimentality, it was like very much too much, right? So, after introducing this mock serious conflict, Pope goes on to narrate the story how this offense took place. So, now the what is rape of the law? Rape of the law is about that story of how the gentleman goes and cut the Belinda's here. So, today's homework will be to study two cantos, first two cantos of Rape of the Lock by Alexander Pope. I'll see you in the next class with this thing. Okay.
okay.
So again, there is a theme of vanity. Vanity kita ahankar, as I said,
Hmm,
beauty, all those things. If even today you see, if you see the the posh families now, families with a lot of money, even if you see the kind of external exhibition that our some of the most powerful businessmen of this country does, like Ambani's, their wedding, means someone getting wed, it was telecasted throughout the country through paparazzi or this way or that, even the Bollywood actor actresses, they were giving food, means they were serving food like catering people, have you seen?
hmm.
Like
Yes,
this
yes.
is a means this is a kind of this shows the kind of power he has, means that Mr. Ambani and his family has. So this is kind of a showcase, and there were a lot of talk about the kind of necklace that Mrs. Nita Ambani wore, and these were tabloid news, and these were paparazzi news for months and months. The Ambani wedding, how they have all the influential people from Mark Zuckerberg to Sundar Pichai all have attended their. Jeff Bezos all have attended their wedding, and politicians from every party, all these things like a huge grand, it's like a what to say. Uh, conference, like world conference is happening,
mm,
and usually why do world conferences happen? For, let's say, for climate action, all those things, right? Climate is changing, so what, people are dying, right? So what actions shall we take to stop these people from dying? How can we minimize the uh, carbon output of industries, so to minimize the temperature of the earth, the global temperature. So huge things, no, for those things conferences happen, na. Conferences of parties, like Paris Agreement, Warsaw Agreement, all those things. But if you see Anant Ambani's wedding, for a wedding, everyone is coming like this, so, and telecasted throughout the world, throughout the country. So so vanity, so the showcase, the what to say, superficiality, marriage to people do in temples as well, right? So that is also marriage. What is a marriage? Marriage is a union of two people living together happily, like this. These things we call marriage. But the grandeur of marriage sometimes take place, for the noble people. It's noble aristocrats, business tycoons. For them it's like, it's something else. For them it's a it's meet and greet of making new deals through marriage. So all those things. So this thing had existed in Augustan age also. So theme of beauty, vanity, all these things you can see there in that social setting. So I guess Momita will
mm.
take up the next cantos in next class. Okay, so today we are doing Canto 1, and your homework will be to study Canto 1 and Canto 2 of this poem and try to understand it, try to understand, read the summaries as well. I'll give you questions here as well in the PPT as well as in our WhatsApp group. So see you then. You have any questions? Do you have any doubts or questions?
No, no.
And how was the class? Any feedback on the class? Was it good? Like, was it insightful?
Sir, class was good.
Okay, sure. So, no doubts.
No, no.
Okay. See you.